Welcome back to When Sports Met Sarcasm. The 2025 U.S. Open men's final is upon us, the last match of the U.S. Open. And we got Carlos, don't call me Alligator Alcaraz, facing off against JANNIK, Red Cabbage Sinner. It's going to be a great match. Obviously, there's only two people in the men's tennis game now, so obviously they're going to be facing off at the end of the Grand Slams. So let's hop into the preview.
Welcome to When Sports Met Sarcasm, the media that not only informs but entertains. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your show.
All right, welcome back. When diving into this matchup, Carlos Alcaraz versus JANNIK Sinner, hard court, we looked at a couple of statistics from Carlos Alcaraz to find out what happens when he loses on hard court. We dove back a couple of years to figure out all of his hard court losses, to figure out if there's some common statistic or some commonality between his losses on hard courts and his opponents. And believe it or not, we found out some very interesting statistics. But first, let's see who's playing. All right. As said before, Carlos Alcaraz's hard court losses, they do have a total commonality of opponent and what was done during those matches to defeat him. And as we've seen recently, it's not that easy to defeat Senor Fist Pump. Now, when we dive into the matchup, you can see who's beat him. Dimitrov, Tomas Macek, Humbert, Lehechka, Goffin, Draper. What they all possess is that flat backhand with pace. No RPMs. It's got to be flat. Basically, flat off the forehand wing, flat off the backhand wing, a lot of redirect. And the reason why this works, as you can see, Botic beat him here last year. All of his shots are flat. His forehand is flat. His backhand is flat. And what we realize is when, let's say, Alcaraz plays someone with a lot more RPMs, like an Arthur Fils or something like that, he just gets more time because of the revolutions per minute. So that gives Carlos Alcaraz more time to get to a shot. And if Carlos Alcaraz has more time to get to a shot, he's got so many weapons in his bag, he figures out which weapon he wants to use when he gets there. Now, the problem is when it comes so fast on top of him, he either has to go to the squash slice on the forehand or take an aggressive, which is a lower probability shot, down from the right wing. On his left wing, it's the same thing. So if you're going to redirect flat, if you're a righty with your forehand, or the opposite wing if you're a lefty, the redirect down the line to his backhand is the same thing. Squash flat, where you have to come in and take him out, or he's going to, which he's not as good as Djokovic or Sinner, going down here and pushing all the way with that backhand, flat and down the line. It's all redirect flat and down the line against Alcaraz, as you can see here. Draper, he developed, basically, because he's a lefty, but he has developed that hard, flat backhand, almost like when Rafa's got every shot in the book, but almost like when Rafa would hit his two-hand flat across the court, because he could go RPM high and he could go flat high. And Rafa would probably say, it's just something that I had to do, figure out how to go to hard down the line, something that Carlos is able to do. So that's something that he would say. So you look at Dimitrov, flat back down the line, very flat. We saw that against JANNIK Sinner at Wimbledon. He should have beat him. Monfils, same thing, flat. Macek, great two-hand, flat backhand. Even Botic, more with the forehand there. Obviously, JANNIK Sinner's beat him before because he can do that himself. Humbert, he's a lefty, but he even hits the lefty forehand flat, and he hits the backhand flat. Casper Ruud was kind of an anomaly in this subset, because I believe that happened maybe at the end of the year of the World Tour Finals when Carlos Alcaraz probably burnt out from winning all time. Zverev, same thing, more flat, but his is more serve. Djokovic just lost the other day, but that was the first time he's lost on hard court to Carlos. Lehechka, who Alcaraz already beat in this tournament, but it's the same thing. He did real good against him. I believe it was at Queens on grass. It's that flat forehand and that flat backhand. That's why we saw David Goffin later in his career. He beat Alcaraz because he does have those flat strokes. So once he can do that, I mean, it's going to be a lot easier for him to be able to go through the court, get it through the court, skid, almost like those ones when you watch it where it skids. You need something like that where it's got to be flat and it's got to pick up steam and go right through the court. And as we can see, like I said before, JANNIK Sinner possesses that. The problem for this is Carlos Alcaraz is playing unbelievable. And when you throw on top that Drake wanted to hop in and jump on the Sinner bandwagon, that's usually a very bad sign. But let me go to Rosalind real quick with some fake ad reads to not pay the bills.
This break in the action is sponsored by Coca-Cola, the sugar drink that has helped increase the risk of type 2 diabetes to over 200 countries. Have a Coke, a tooth decayed smile, and a heightened risk of type 2 diabetes. Did you know you were in the wrong and just couldn't figure out how to apologize to someone? You're in luck. The John Cena Apology app has over 20 different types of apologies in over 30 different languages. Mandarin Apology John Cena is the most popular, but we have John Cena, apologizing to everyone, in English, Italian, Spanish, and of course numerous Chinese dialects. If you are sorry and need to apologize, don't look further than the John Cena Apology app.
We are back. Now, like we said, we've already had a queen crowned. Unfortunately, it was Aryna Sabalenka for our interest. And today, we're going to crown a king, which if you look at the betting lines, looks like Sinner somewhere around minus 130, minus 135, with Carlos, don't call me Alligator Alcaraz, coming back around plus 105. Well, I'll tell you what, we know which side Drake's on. We know which side you should be on. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to When Sports Met Sarcasm, the media that not only informs but entertains.